Hi everyone, welcome back to another video this week. Today I'm sharing with you the 7 things that have helped transform my personal style. I think personal style is a very fluid process that is constantly changing and adapting with us. I want to share with you the 7 tips that I feel like have made the biggest difference to my own style in helping it become a little bit more cohesive and empowering me to feel more creative with my wardrobe. All of the tips I'm sharing today are quite simple and approachable, so hopefully they can help you in your personal style journey. My very first tip is the most simple but also the most important, and it's about having a wardrobe storage system that works for you. It's not about having an impressive wardrobe space, it's about having something functional where you can see what clothes you have and it encourages you to be creative. I think this will work for any style, and it doesn't matter if you have a very small 10-piece wardrobe, for example, or if you have a very large wardrobe. This is something that I think is key to developing any personal style. It's also more approachable than you might think, because the other day I just set a Pomodoro 25-minute timer and I took everything out and organized it in sections from my tops to my skirts, trousers and dresses, and it was done very quickly with minimal effort, and I feel like I am going to get all of that 25 minutes back eventually when getting dressed in the morning becomes a lot easier. The system that I use is basically to organize everything by what they are, so the category, and then I also go from lightest to darkest. I find that this is really great because we have a tendency to put our clothes back in the middle of our wardrobe, and then we'll of course just reach for those pieces again when we're in a rush in the morning. By organizing it this way, I feel like our clothes get treated more equally and we actually get a chance to wear more things in our wardrobe rather than sticking to those pieces that are right on the surface and that we see first. If you fold your clothes, I think you can do exactly the same thing. There are so many side perks of doing this, and another one is it helps you to see the duplicates in your wardrobe, and it definitely lets you know what kind of things you don't need more of in your wardrobe. The second thing that has helped transform my personal style is to not compromise on details. And I really think that sometimes it's a matter of a seam, a button placement, the colors of a button, and these really small, tiny things that can change an item from being really our style and from being slightly off. Keeping that in mind, one of the biggest things that have hindered me from finding my personal style is when I do compromise and purchase something that I'm not 100% happy with. It's not 100% aligned with the style that I've been looking for, and I've just purchased it because it's available, it's in stock, maybe it's on sale, and it always ends up being a mistake. For example, I've just taken this sweater from my wardrobe. Whenever I wear this knit, my outfit always feels quite aligned to my personal style. And it's because within the details, like the buttons and the lace work, it already has a more romantic, feminine design which aligns well with my style. In the past, what I have done is that I have overlooked these details and I might have purchased something that felt a little bit more minimal and classic, thinking it would be the more versatile option in my wardrobe. And it never ended up being the case because it didn't have the right details that suits my style. And this is a very personal thing because for many people this is not going to be the right item for them. They might prefer something that is more simple and more modern. But paying attention to the seams, to the buttons, to the really small details always pays off. Another example I can give you is this silk shirt which has a lace collar design which just feels a bit more soft and feminine. In a very similar way, this is another detail that aligns more with my personal style. And because a silk shirt is something that is such a frequently worn piece in a wardrobe, it just makes all of those outfits I wear a silk shirt with more aligned to my personal style. A lot of personal style is obviously about how we style things, but having the right pieces that kind of align well with our style just makes our life a lot easier. That's something that I think is really important at the end of the day. The third thing that has made a difference to my personal style is tailoring. And I want to be specific here because tailoring is such a big topic. I wanted to specifically talk about sleeve length. And this is my biggest pet peeve as someone who is petite. I feel like when the sleeves of a top I'm wearing is way too long, it really starts to make me feel sloppy. I used to be okay with just rolling things up, but ever since I started to actually tailor my sleeves, I feel like it has made my style feel a lot more polished. This is obviously something that works for any style. For you, it might not even be sleeves, it might be another area of your clothing. But for me personally, sleeve length has always been something that I feel looks really sloppy when the sleeves are not right. The most obvious example I can think of is with oversized blazers. Because the item is by definition oversized, I always find that if the sleeves are also way too long on my hand, it makes the piece feel like it just doesn't fit me at all. The second thing I think is really important in tailoring is to have a good idea of how much different things cost, and also what are the things that can be done. I'm just going to give you a few examples of things that can cost quite a lot. One of them is when you need to adjust the blazer length and you've got buttons in the way. So I basically need my sleeve length to be in the middle of a couple of buttons. I have asked around at different places, and the general quote I get is from about $60 to $80. Whereas for this particular blazer, if I recall correctly, we ended up cutting off all the buttons and we basically put 3 faux buttons there to give the look. And that was a much easier and more affordable job compared to the earlier option. I think just factoring those things in can really help us when deciding what item is worth purchasing and what item is probably not worth it when it comes to pieces that need tailoring. A very random side benefit of tailoring is that I always ask myself the question, is this piece going to hold up quality-wise for me to justify the cost of tailoring? By asking myself this question, I end up with higher quality pieces and I skip out on those pieces that I feel are not going to survive long enough for that tailoring cost to be justified. And I feel like at the end of the day, if an item doesn't look like it's going to hold up for a long time, it's probably just not worth adding to your wardrobe. It's going to be more expensive in the long run because you have to replace it. That is the kind of purchase that I've tried to minimize over the last couple of years. Whenever I'm hesitant about spending the extra $10, $20, $30 on tailoring, I always have to double check with myself whether I'm buying it because it's cheap and cheerful, or if I'm buying it because I actually see myself wearing it for a long time. The fourth thing is to do with fit and figuring out what kind of fits I feel the best in. This is not a restrictive exercise. This is not about only being able to wear the things we look good in or only being able to wear certain silhouettes. But because there is just so much to experiment with, I always think that it's a good idea to know what you look and feel best in and then to kind of experiment out from there. Otherwise, there are just so many options and it's so easy to buy something and experiment with it and then realize, no, that's not for us. One of the things that stays true through pretty much all of my outfits is that I like to tuck my tops in, and I also prefer a slightly more cropped silhouette on the top. I don't tend to reach for very long line pieces when it comes to my tops, and this is just the fit that I prefer. I also know that I tend to feel the best in looser, wider trousers. It's just a silhouette that particularly speaks to me, and I always feel better in the looser, wider trousers compared to something that is more slim. In a very contradictory way, in the winter time, the fit I prefer the most is a very long line, shapeless coat that I could put over my clothing. This is something that I consistently reach for every single winter without fail. This has just become the thing I know is my style during winter. If you're wondering how I figured out which fits I do like and don't like, it just comes down to making a mental note every time I really like my outfit and figuring out exactly what it was that I liked about it to keep in mind for some of the outfits I would create later on. I can't stress enough that this is really not about limiting yourself to only wearing these pieces or these fits. You can kind of experiment by changing up one piece one day and seeing how you like it and gradually just developing from your experiments. But I like that it gives you a place to start and it just makes finding your personal style that little bit easier. The fifth thing is that it is okay to embrace some statement items or some trends when they align well with our style. For a long time, I tried to tick off the Pinterest checklist on what a capsule wardrobe should be. So white shirt, silk shirt, jeans, tailored trousers, little black dress, the list goes on. But when I actually had those pieces in my wardrobe, I actually still had nothing to wear because by putting basic and basic together, I don't feel completely in my kind of comfort zone style. From my take, I think whether your style is very classic or quite adventurous, it can always benefit from those pieces that feel very, very, very you. I'm specifically talking about statement items and trends, but really the things that kind of inject something beyond the basics to your wardrobe. When I had the classic wardrobe without these pieces, I found that yes, everything matched, but nothing excited me, and I actually didn't want to wear any of the outfits I created because everything just felt a bit bland. The best example I feel I can give you that is a statement, a trend, but also aligns well with my style is the color green. So this is a color that I have always been gravitating towards. It just so happens that the color is trendy right now, and I've got so many options out there, whereas normally I don't feel like this color is as easy to find in the styles that I like. So this is a trend and a statement that I have fully embraced. And I always just like to check with myself, would I have worn this last year before it was trendy? And is it going to be super weird when I wear it 2 or 3 years later? And the answer is no, because it's just the color. It comes in and out of fashion, sure, but it is just the color, and I don't really see it being something that feels very seasonal when it comes to trends. The important message is obviously not to go out and go crazy for seasonal trends and pieces that may not actually be wearable after this time. I really can't speak for someone who does have a true minimal and classic style, but for me, I just know that this is something that I wish people told me when I was building my wardrobe. Number 6 is not having go-to outfits and repeat outfit formulas that I could reach for when getting ready in the morning. For whatever reason I was thinking at the time, I thought I could just go to my wardrobe, grab whatever, and then feel great in that outfit every day. So I think sometimes I did feel great in the outfits I pulled together really quickly, and then sometimes not so great. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm in a rush, or even when I'm not in a rush and getting ready for work, is to have some place to start. Not only does this help us save time and skip the morning rush, it also ensures we have an outfit that we feel good in the mornings when we don't have a lot of time to fuss. Another great thing about repeat outfits is that it helps consolidate our style. I felt for a long time that my style was all over the place and I was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I really struggled to kind of pin down what my style was. So I found that when I narrowed it down to my most worn type of outfits, like 5 repeat type of outfits I would wear all the time, it made me realize exactly what I liked and what my style was. I did an entire video about outfit formulas I like to repeat, and that video is still incredibly valid. I would still wear all of those outfits. But just to give you a few more examples, I think always wearing a cardigan and some tailored trousers is an outfit that I feel really good in. It's a very simple combination, but it's a go-to that I like. I always like the details in the cardigan, so including the buttons as well as like the lacework and shape. And I always like how modern the trousers feel. So this is a combination that never fails me. Another outfit formula I really like is a more feminine blouse, like the one I'm wearing. This one has a huge ruffle, and I love the feminine blouse tucked into a wider trouser. Another one I like is something like a little cami top. This one I've had for like 6 years and it's going very strong in my wardrobe. A cami top just tucked into a wider trouser as well. These are 3 very easy combinations that you kind of see repeated again and again and again in some of my styling videos because I just know that it's what I like and it's what I feel good in. For repeat outfits, I think it's really easy to think, this sounds time consuming and you know, we've all got lives, who has time to do this? But it's one of those things that can kind of help in the morning when you are getting ready. So you kind of get your time back in that sense. And I also think that if you like restyling your wardrobe, this is a great way to think of combinations that you may not have thought of because we're working with an outfit formula and we're basically just mixing in pieces, for example, of a cardigan, of a trousers, to create multiple outfits within this exact formula. Tip number 7 is my wholesome end to this video. And that is just at the end of the day with fashion and with style, I feel like we pay more attention to what we wear than anyone else would. So I think it really places the emphasis when it comes to fashion and style on what we want to wear and what we ourselves feel the best in. Because chances are no one else really cares as much as we do about what we wear. And something I can bring in from years of putting my outfits online is that for every person who likes your outfit, there's also going to be someone who doesn't like it. And I think that's completely okay because we are all, you know, allowed our preference, our taste. But it comes down to the fact that there's no point in dressing to impress others because at the end of the day it kind of evens out. So we might as well just wear what we really like. If you put on an outfit that feels too safe, you know, some people might love it because it's classic, some people might think it's boring. And if you put on an outfit that's too adventurous, some people might love it because it's fun, it's cool. Other people might hate it because it looks ridiculous. And what I really get from this is just wear what you want because otherwise it's an impossible thing. One of the great debates I always see in fashion videos is about oversized clothing. And a lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it, and there's really a very good split for both. So it's a really good example, I think, when it comes to fashion and clothing, that just goes to show that we all have different tastes, we have different aesthetic. There's obviously no wrong answer, and it's just an interesting one. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I do have a bunch of other videos on my channel where I share similar kinds of content on personal style, restyling my clothes, outfit ideas, reviews, which you might be interested in. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.